Hello everybody, it's Pastor Matthew here with our weekly children's video. Glad to be with you today and have the opportunity to do a lesson with you for the week. For this week I'd like to look at a passage of Scripture in 1 Corinthians 12. And before we go there, I'd like to ask you a question. Is there anything that you really like to do? We've asked this a few times maybe throughout the videos. Things that you really like to do and you're really good at. Maybe you're good at painting, or you're very artistic, or if you like riding your bike a lot, or if you're really athletic and you like sports. We all were made differently. Some of us are tall and some of us are short, and some of us can sing really well and some of us can't. We talked about that a few videos ago, if you remember. Well, what I'd like you to look at is a passage in 1 Corinthians 12 where Paul says that about us as the church. And it says this: "For just as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of the body, though many, are one body, so it is with Christ." So we have all different body parts. So here's a hand, and here's a nose, and here's an ear, and here's an eye. And we all have different body parts, but they all work together to make us who we are, so that we can do all sorts of different things. This is what he says: "For the body does not consist of one member, but many. If the foot should say, 'Because I am not a hand, I do not belong to the body,' that would not make it any less part of the body. And if the ear should say, 'Because I am not an eye, I do not belong to the body,' that would not make it any less part of the body. If the whole body were an eye, where would the sense of hearing be? And if the whole body were an ear, where would the sense of smell be? But as it is, God arranged the members of the body, each one of them, as he chose. If all were a single member, where would the body be? As it is, there are many parts, yet one body." And so that's our Bible verse today from 1 Corinthians 12. If your whole body was an eye, where would your sense of smell be? Or if your whole body was an ear, where would your sight be? So think about when you go to a movie theater maybe, or if you're watching a movie at home. It's later at night perhaps, and it's darker, and the music's really loud in the movie, and you're watching the video on the screen. At what point is your foot, let's say, enjoying the movie? Your foot's not enjoying the movie. Your foot's just hanging out there because you're not doing anything. You're sitting on the couch maybe, or sitting in the movie seat, and your foot doesn't have anything to do, but your eyes and your ears are taking in the movie for your whole body, because your eyes and ears are able to see and to hear and enjoy the movie that way. But when you want to go outside and play soccer, that's when you need to have fast feet, and that's when your feet do things that no other part of your body can do. So I want you to think about how God made you and how God made us as a church, that we're all individually made with unique abilities. And there's some things that you can't do that someone else can do a lot better. And there's some things that you can do that someone else can't do. And so you need to be able to recognize that, because that really is what's healthy for a church and what's healthy for you as an individual to know. So that don't try to make yourself into something you're not. Be who God made you to be. Look at this image. I want you to see this. I put all this together. And here is a clipboard, and what I did is I taped down a bunch of different items. And I want you to look at them all. All these different things have various purposes. So you see over here you have a pin, and this pin happens to have a copper color, and over here is a pin with a silver color. They look different, but they both do the same thing, right? But they don't do nearly the same thing as what a paperclip does. A paperclip holds a bunch of papers together in one packet. But a pin, you'd pin something on a wall or on a pin board with that. And then look at this. This is the all mangled paperclip, and it looks a little different. But it could serve a different purpose if you wanted to use the paperclip that wasn't a normal purpose, like putting papers together. So maybe you are a paperclip, but you're just a little different, and you do things a different way. Well, that could be good, because you actually have to learn how to do things different ways. So think about how God made you. Or maybe you are a pin, but you're not this kind of pin, and you're a blue pin or a pink pin. There's so many different things that we have that use different purposes. And over here you have a clip that's really thick, so it can even be better than a paper clip because it can hold more pieces of paper together. All these images represent different people. We all have different abilities and skills. And we have to learn how to rely on each other individually, because that's how God made us. None of us is able to do everything. And you have to have a certain level of awareness to know that. And that leads us here to the end, which is the primary meaning of the whole gospel, which is there are so many things that you can't do because God created you with an inability to do them. And then there's even other things you can't do that you should be doing. And we call that sin. When you do bad things and you're supposed to be doing good things, that's called sin. And we all fail. We can't do it right. And so you need to learn to rely on other people in your life who do things better than you so you can learn from them. But the whole point of that is so that you ultimately learn to rely on Jesus Christ. Because God's put us in a place where we're so weak that we have to know that we need Jesus. You have to be able to say, I can't save myself. I can't do right. If you're willing to acknowledge your inability, then you actually are opening up the door to find the solution, which is Jesus. So think about that and talk it over with your parents this week, and I'll see you on Sunday. Bye.